You probably think bread is one of the simplest things you can buy at the supermarket. Just grab a loaf, toss it in your trolley, and move on with your day. But what if I told you that the bread most Australian families are eating daily contains ingredients that have been restricted or outright banned in other developed countries? What if those soft, pillowy slices that seem so harmless are actually loaded with chemicals, preservatives, and so much hidden sugar that you might as well be feeding your kids dessert for lunch? I've spent considerable time examining ingredient labels, consulting with nutrition experts, and researching what actually goes into the bread filling our supermarket shelves. What I discovered was genuinely alarming. This isn't about being extreme or creating unnecessary panic. This is about understanding exactly what you're consuming multiple times every day. The average Australian eats bread with breakfast, packs it for lunch, and often has it again at dinner. If the bread you're choosing is nutritionally bankrupt or packed with questionable additives, you're essentially compromising your health repeatedly throughout the day. Let's start with brands that position themselves as premium options. There are loaves with European-sounding names and sophisticated packaging that command higher prices, leading you to assume you're getting superior quality. But examine those ingredient panels closely. You'll find them loaded with vegetable oils, specifically canola and soybean varieties. Ask yourself why bread needs oil at all. Traditional bread recipes never included it. These oils are added purely to extend shelf life and manufacture a softer texture, but they're highly processed and can promote inflammation in your body. Then consider the sugar content lurking in these supposedly premium loaves. Some contain over 3 grams per slice. That's actually more sugar than you'll find in certain biscuits. Your body processes this bread almost identically to cake, causing blood sugar spikes followed by crashes that leave you hungry again within an hour. When you're paying $6 or $7 for a loaf, you'd expect genuine quality, but instead you're getting what amounts to cake masquerading as bread. The sodium levels are equally problematic, with some varieties delivering 400 milligrams per 2 slices. That represents nearly a quarter of your recommended daily sodium intake from just your sandwich bread. Consume this regularly and you're setting yourself up for elevated blood pressure, weight gain, and constant energy fluctuations. Now let's talk about the brands that have been fixtures in Australian households for generations. These products benefit from decades of brand recognition and nostalgic associations. The problem is that what they're selling today bears almost no resemblance to what they produced decades ago. These ultra-processed white breads have been refined to the point where they contain virtually zero nutritional value. Manufacturers strip away all the fiber and nutrients, then add back synthetic vitamins so they can claim the product is enriched. That's not enrichment. That's attempting to repair damage they deliberately caused. The primary ingredient in these loaves is white flour, which your body converts to sugar almost instantaneously. Then they add actual sugar as one of the top ingredients. You're literally eating sugar bread. Notice that weird spongy consistency that compresses into nothing when you squeeze it? That's because there's no genuine structure, just air and chemicals holding it together. Many of these breads contain calcium propionate as a preservative, which research has linked to behavioral issues in children and digestive disturbances in adults. Studies suggest it can disrupt beneficial gut bacteria. Kids eating this for school lunches experience blood sugar spikes followed by crashes that directly impact their concentration and classroom behavior. Adults consuming it regularly find themselves perpetually hungry because there's insufficient fiber to create lasting satiety. Some brands market themselves as premium health-focused options. They cover their packaging with bold claims about protein and fiber content, but reading the actual ingredient lists reveals masterful deceptive marketing. Yes, they've added protein, but it's typically soy protein isolate, a heavily processed ingredient that causes digestive issues for many people. The fiber comes from added resistant starch and inulin, rather than natural fiber from whole grains. Your body processes these differently than genuine fiber, and numerous people experience uncomfortable bloating and gas from them. Check how many ingredients these supposedly healthy breads contain. Over 20 components for bread. Why would that be necessary? Because you're looking at heavily engineered products designed in laboratories rather than bakeries. They've incorporated gums, emulsifiers, and preservatives to manufacture specific textures and shelf lives. When you're paying premium prices for these loaves, you're funding food science experiments rather than purchasing real bread. Despite all the health claims plastered across the packaging, these products still contain nearly 3 grams of sugar per slice and substantial sodium levels. These companies are counting on busy parents seeing high-protein claims on labels without investigating further. Then there are brands that use wholesome-sounding names, evoking images of traditional village bakeries and fresh-baked goodness. It's pure marketing theater. These are factory-produced breads, owned by massive corporations. Their wholemeal ranges are particularly problematic because while they contain wholemeal flour, it's not whole grain. That distinction matters enormously. Wholemeal flour is still refined. Manufacturers have retained some wheat components, but the grinding process mirrors white flour production, meaning your body digests it almost as rapidly. You're not receiving the blood sugar benefits that genuine whole grain bread provides. Examine the additives in these products. Vegetable oil, sugar, vinegar as a preservative, soy flour as cheap filler. Authentic wholemeal bread requires flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's the complete list. Yet these commercial versions contain 12 or more ingredients. Notice that soft, fluffy consistency. Real wholemeal bread has density and structure. What you're getting is white bread tinted brown and marketed with carefully chosen buzzwords designed to deceive health-conscious shoppers. Budget brands represent another category entirely. With these, you genuinely get what you pay for, which isn't much. These breads are so aggressively processed they barely qualify as food. Ingredient lists begin with enriched wheat flour, meaning all nutrients were stripped out, then synthetic vitamins were added back. Following that comes sugar, vegetable oil, and a cocktail of preservatives, including calcium propionate and sorbic acid. The texture resembles eating kitchen sponges. There's no genuine flavor beyond vague sweetness and a distinct chemical aftertaste. Here's a disturbing experiment worth trying. Leave a slice of this budget bread on your counter for 2 weeks. It won't mold, it won't even get stale. It just sits there completely unchanged, like a piece of plastic. That's not normal. Real bread molds within days because it's made from natural ingredients that decompose. These industrial loaves are so saturated with preservatives that even bacteria refuse to consume them. If microorganisms won't touch it, why are you eating it? The glycemic index on these products is astronomical. They'll spike your blood sugar faster than consuming straight glucose. For anyone who's diabetic or pre-diabetic, this bread represents genuine danger. While the low price seems like a bargain, you're paying an enormous price with your health. Even chains that position themselves as proper bakeries with fresh daily baking often produce standard white bread that's terrible for your health. Despite being baked on premises, their ingredient lists remain loaded with additives. They use improvers and conditioners to accelerate the rising process, allowing them to produce more loaves per day and maximize profits. These dough conditioners include chemicals that are banned in European markets and under consideration for bans elsewhere. Some have been linked to respiratory problems and allergic reactions. The sugar content in these fresh-baked loaves often exceeds 3 grams per slice. That's more than a teaspoon of sugar in every 2 slices. These bakeries charge premium prices because they've positioned themselves as legitimate artisan operations. But their standard white bread is factory bread, baked on site. You're paying for the performance of watching fresh baking while receiving the same processed ingredients found in supermarket brands. Brands trading on heritage and nostalgia present their own problems. Their packaging looks old-fashioned and trustworthy, evoking reliability. But their traditional light breads are anything but traditional. Genuine traditional bread from past decades contained 4 ingredients maximum. Modern versions contain 18 or more. They've incorporated emulsifiers for texture improvement, enzymes for faster production, vinegar as preservative, soy flour as cheap filler, and multiple forms of sugar disguised under different names. When you see ingredients like glucose syrup, dextrose, and sugar all listed in the same product, That's a warning sign. Manufacturers are concealing total sugar content by splitting it across multiple ingredients. The sodium content in these heritage brands is often outrageous, delivering 450 milligrams per 2 slices. Eat this bread for breakfast and lunch, and you've consumed over a third of your daily sodium limit from bread alone. This contributes to hypertension, water retention, and kidney stress. The absolute worst offenders are brands marketed specifically to parents for children's school lunches. The product names themselves reveal everything, emphasizing unnatural softness. Bread shouldn't be that soft. That texture comes from horrifying cocktails of chemicals and excessive processing. These breads contain enriched wheat flour, high fructose corn syrup, vegetable oil, and preservative mixtures including emulsifiers that research has linked to gut inflammation. Studies suggest these emulsifiers can damage intestinal lining and contribute to inflammatory bowel disease. The sugar content in these children's breads is criminal, exceeding 4 grams per slice. Kids are eating candy bread for lunch. 2 slices contain more sugar than small chocolate bars. This causes massive blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, which explains why children become hyperactive, then suddenly crash after lunch. The glycemic index is off the charts. This bread converts to blood sugar faster than white rice. Feed this to children daily, and you're programming their developing bodies for obesity and diabetes. Their brains experience sugar crashes precisely when they need concentration for learning. Here's what you must understand about the Australian bread industry. It's dominated by massive corporations that have industrialized bread production to maximize profit and shelf life, not nutrition or health. The bread your grandparents ate contained 4 ingredients and went stale within 2 days. Modern supermarket bread contains 20 ingredients and lasts 2 weeks. That difference tells you everything. All these preservatives, emulsifiers, added sugars, and vegetable oils serve one purpose: profit. They extend shelf life for inventory management. They create addictive textures that drive repeat purchases. They use cheap ingredients to maximize margins while your health deteriorates. The solution requires vigilance. Seek bread with minimal ingredients, ideally 5 or fewer. Ingredient lists should begin with whole grain or wholemeal flour, never enriched wheat flour. Avoid anything containing added sugars, vegetable oils, or extensive preservative lists. Genuine sourdough is excellent because fermentation breaks down gluten and lowers glycemic impact. Proper whole grain bread with visible grains and seeds provides actual nutrition. Your health is worth more than saving a few dollars on bread. Your children's development is worth more than convenience. Make informed choices, because what you eat today determines your health tomorrow.